Hey, comic book fans, it's Mick here on the Multiverse channel again, ready to talk to you about some books that came out this week in case you haven't picked them up yet. I've got a few things that you may have overlooked and some really good stuff and some not so good stuff. So we'll just kind of hit some of the highlights today. There are actually a lot of books out this week, so we'll probably actually take a couple of days to go over everything that came out this week for all the highlights as far as what you need to find and pick up and read, and what you may want to pass on this week. Big book this week, Detective 1000. How was it overall? Pretty good. A lot of Batman stories in there, a lot of tribute stories. Nothing necessarily on an overall arcing story, as anniversary issues tend to be just kind of standalone things. But there are 7 or 8 mini stories in here by a variety of artists and writers. Most of them are pretty good. There's a few that are pretty sentimental for long-term Batman fans. Kevin Smith has got one in here that's not bad, as well as Neil Adams' artwork on the interior. And of course, you know, Jim Lee and some of the other big names are on there as well. So if you haven't checked this one out yet, it's a definite must-getter, and I hope you like it. Next up on the list is the relaunch of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. In the past, I haven't been a huge Archie universe fan. You know, I know the TV show for Sabrina is pretty popular these days. This doesn't quite go down as a darker road as what the TV show is doing, but it's still a pretty good read. It's another reimagining of Sabrina starting over in a new town and having to deal with teenage witchcraft powers, and her aunts are witches, and all the canon is still the same, just updated for a newer age. So all in all, not a bad read. A couple variant covers, one Adam Hughes cover that's really cool that you may want to check out there as well. Next on the list is the relaunch of Dial H for Hero. I was kind of skeptical with this being part of the new Bendis titles, as far as the, what do they call this one, the Wonder Comics. But you know what, Humphreys did a really good job on this one. I have to say, I expected to be just on the okay side. I was really entertained. There were several moments in this one where I laughed out loud after the Dial H phone shows up, and Monster Truck is the first hero that he dials, which is pretty good. A lot of Diesel references and amusing comments made from that set of superpowers. So it's definitely a book I'm going to check out number 2 on. If you haven't read Dial H for Hero and you're just looking for something kind of fun, this is definitely a book up your alley. Next on the list, got a Dark Horse book here, Bad Luck Chuck. I'm going to say I had no idea what to expect from this book, but it was very entertaining. Bad Luck Chuck is about a individual who seems to have, for lack of a better words, bad luck powers. So she seems to be hired so far to go to, say, a laundromat that's not doing very well, and because of her bad luck, the laundromat burns down, and the owner gets to claim the insurance, which is more than what the building's worth, and that sort of thing. She gets hired to do jobs of that nature. So I think it'll be an interesting read to see where it goes from here. It's definitely a new premise that was pretty cool, so we'll see what we can do with that one. Next up on the list here, we've got 30 Days of Night. This is another Kelly Sue DeConnick book. Very good here, very happy with that one. You may want to check this one out. It's a pretty good read, especially if you're a 30 Days of Night fan. What do you want? Vampires? Pretty good. Next up on the list, we've got Star Bastard. This one was a pretty big disappointment. Got a retelling of Star Wars with a little bit more vulgar language and some kind of hints of maybe like a Firefly kind of vibe with it too. It wasn't my cup of tea, but maybe it's yours. You know, check it out. It's a brand new book starting. It is going to be monthly, so we'll see where it goes from there. As far as the big hit this week, Freedom Force. If you have not read any of the previous 3 issues, I highly recommend you run out and get them. I know here in the store, I'm pretty sure that we've got back stock on all of them. If not, we can definitely get them for you. Probably the coolest book that I've read this month so far. Definitely pays homage to the original series as far as Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters, and this one actually does feature the return of Uncle Sam, and probably the coolest comic book moment I've seen all month. So if you enjoy a good book that's fighting against Nazis, and they actually get punched in the face, this one's really good for you. So check those out. We'll be back again tomorrow with some more updates and news for you, and maybe some mini painting coming up this week. Probably a D&D game or 2, and a few other surprises.